As a CEO, CXO, or a C-suite member, are you facing any of these challenges? Achieving sustainable top and bottom line growth in a disruptive world. Setting and executing the right strategic direction from a multitude of available options. Upgrading business models and technology and doing it fast enough to stay ahead of disruptions. Developing new and innovative products and services to keep up with ever-changing customer demands and needs. Now, these are some of the top challenges CEOs and C-suite leaders face. What is the common thread among these various challenges? Well, you need people to help you overcome these challenges and execute the strategy. Without taking people along, even the most brilliant strategy and the greatest business plan will fail. To quote Peter Drucker, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And there may be more. Culture may eat the change readiness for lunch and sustainable growth for dinner. Strategy, it's cool and sexy. Culture, it's hard and often messy. So strategy gets all the attention and culture is sometimes ignored. C-suite leaders face similar problems again and again, sometimes without realizing that it's culture. Don't believe me? In the Gallup surveys over last few years, employee engagement consistently hovers around 33%. What does it mean? 2/3 of all employees are disengaged. Privately, many CEOs will admit that they wish they knew better ways to attract and retain top talent, to engage and align talent to business strategy, and to improve transparency, cohesion, and collaboration. And I'm sure you do too. The most important and often difficult job of the CEO is to create a culture where people can do their best work. A culture of sustainable high performance in a rapidly changing VUCA business environment. So, who or what creates such a culture of high engagement and high performance? And a short and simple answer is leadership behaviors. Here is a study by Korn Ferry Hay Group. What factors impact the bottom line, the profitability of any company? And then they list 5 factors that account for 65% of the profits. Strong franchises, beneficial environments, intellectual property rights, regulatory barriers, and massive resources. So what about the other 35% of the profitability? Leadership behaviors create the culture, and culture accounts for 35% of the bottom line of any company according to Korn Ferry's study. Now here is another study to consider by Zenger-Folkman. It showed a clear correlation between leadership behaviors and the bottom line. So the top leaders, those who were in the top 10th percentile, delivered 6 times the profit than those leaders who were in the bottom 10th percentile in the same organization with the same culture. On the other hand, bad leaders create a toxic culture, stifle engagement and productivity. A study by DDI estimated that the direct cost of a single bad leader is $126,000 per year. So let me ask you this question. In your organization, how many people report directly to the CEO? Now that might be your C-suite team. Now how many people report to the C-suite? This is your senior leadership team. Now often for a company with 1,000 employees, the senior leadership team consists of just 30 leaders. So what the senior leadership does or doesn't do has a huge impact. A lot is riding on your leaders, especially your executive team. And the question is, are you supporting them properly, or is it a sink or swim approach? If you are the CEO or the C-suite executive, leadership development is your primary responsibility, and it starts with, guess who? You. and then it cascades down. This critical responsibility cannot be delegated to HR or talent management or leadership development departments. They obviously can support and facilitate it, but it is the CEO's responsibility to first role model and cascade down the right leadership behaviors that create a culture of high performance and high engagement. One fantastic case study is how a CEO transferred the culture is the story of Alan Mulally and the Ford turnaround. Alan took Ford from losing 17 billion a year from the verge of bankruptcy to the most profitable year in just 6 years. And in an organization that was dominated by labor unions, his approval was constantly in the high 90%. Now, even if your organization is doing well due to maybe favorable external circumstances, you are probably leaving money on the table. You might miss opportunities for even faster growth. And there is always the question of sustainability in a VUCA world. 75% of the current companies in S&P 500 will not be there by 2027. And things aren't better for small and medium enterprises. Only 25% survive their 10th birthday. So as a C-suite leader, maybe you want to develop your leaders. So how is the current state of leadership development? Here is a recent survey, and you can see this again and again year after year. 89% of the CEOs consider leadership development the number one priority, but only 10% thought that their leadership development had any business impact. 62 billion was spent worldwide on leadership development in 2014. Christy Hedges wrote a dramatic article. If you think your leadership development programs may be a waste of time, you may be right. And she wrote this article in Forbes. Now, most leadership development initiatives are actually a waste of time, money, and effort. And I have two separate videos on the reasons why. And both of them cite research first from Boston Consulting Group and the second one from McKinsey. And I'll put the link for both in the description of this video if you want to watch them. But the fact remains that the most traditional leadership development initiatives like B-schools, internal leadership program, e-learning, blended learning have little business impact, sometimes none. So as a C-suite leader, you want a leadership program that delivers results and business impact and return on investment. And I'm happy to share that we do have such a program that delivers guaranteed and measurable leadership growth. Yes, you heard it right, guaranteed and measurable. So we call this New Age Leadership Triple Advantage Coaching. And here are some of the salient features. It is time and resource efficient. The leader doesn't have to leave work to attend training programs for a few days. We go to the leader and her team, and it only takes about 1.5 hours per month. Rest of the time, the leader is working to implement the plan with her team. Individual and customized improvement areas for each leader that are aligned to the business strategy. It also involves the leader's entire team, and because of that, it has a cascading effect on the team effectiveness and improving the organizational culture. Our entire one-year engagement often costs less than sending a leader to a short duration program at any reputed B school. And guaranteed and measurable leadership growth as assessed not by us, not by the leader, but anonymously rated by the leader's own team members. And finally, no growth, no pay. We work with many of our clients on a no growth, no pay basis. What does it mean? If the leader doesn't grow or improve, you simply don't have to pay us. Now, don't try that with other vendors. We are so confident because our process has a 95% effectiveness rate in a large-scale study of 11,000 leaders on 4 continents. Now, in conclusion, you cannot execute strategy without creating a culture that supports it. Simple. Let us help you develop your leaders and help you create a culture of high performance. Good leadership will supercharge business results, and on the other hand, bad leadership may be costing you a lot more than you think or you even know. Schedule a quick conversation with us to find out more about how we can help you and your leaders with our NAL Triple Advantage coaching. And for this call, there is no obligation, no sales pitch, and no cost.